Alright, so I'm going to be making a supply demand curve, and I'm going to be showing what it looks like when there's a tax on a good and how it affects the prices. So first of all, I'm going to start off and make my supply and demand curve. Supply. Here's demand. So at this equilibrium, here's the equilibrium price. Quantity. And there's a good surplus. We have this whole triangle here is this top triangle is the consumer surplus, and then this bottom is producer surplus, my bad. But so when there's a tax on a good by the government, we can bring in our tax wedge, which, let's say this is our tax wedge, and that just means that the supply or demand curve is shifted. Anyway, so here's the tax curve, and so here is the new price up here. This is the new price. Price, tax, so PT, tax. And then this new price right here is what the producers get to actually keep. Price, let's say price P for producer. And then all of this area in here is the tax revenue, and all of that goes to the government. So highlighter, I'm going to do that. Nope, my bad. This is tax revenue. As you can see, it's hard to tell in this one, but this one is a little bit, this triangle, or not triangle, rectangle is a little bit smaller than this one up here, meaning that would have more of the tax burden. But I'll go and show that on another graph after this. But because of this tax, there is the consumer surplus has shrunk to this triangle, which you still do half times base times height to find, and the consumer or producer surplus has shrunk to this triangle. And the area of all three of these would be how to find the answer for all of them. And then the total deadweight loss would be this triangle, because there's no more exchanges taking place here, even though people are willing and able to. It's just the tax that makes people not be able to. So it causes people can't make their exchanges. So that's the first one. And how to shift who has the burden of the tax. That was a terrible line. Okay, so here is our regular supply curve. And then we were going to have a very inelastic demand curve. Inelastic for incur the tax. Elastic, you would escape the tax. Inelastic, you incur the tax. So we bring in, here's our price at equilibrium. Equilibrium price. Oh, that was. Price. Quantity. Label this quantity. This price. Okay, so we bring in our tax wedge. Say it hits up here. And it hits right here. So now, this is the price the producer gets to keep. Price, producer, that's what I labeled it up there. And this price up here is what the consumer pays. So price, what did I label it? Price, T, what's the T for? I don't know. So this is the new price up here. That's what PT is a new price, and then PP is what the price the actual producer gets to keep. And just like in the last one, this whole rectangle is the tax revenue. However, it's a little different this time because it's not split as evenly between the producer and consumer. There's this little triangle, and then there's this big triangle way up here. They're not close to the same size. It's because of the inelasticity of the demand curve. So inelasticity means that they incur the tax. So the consumers are less likely to escape, or are less able to escape the tax. So they have more of a tax burden on them. This is the consumer tax burden. This is producer tax burden. So another thing I forgot to mention earlier, this whole area is the tax. So let's say this is $2. So, but the way this is split, let's say this is $1.75 of the burden is being paid by the consumer, and only 25 is being paid by the producer because of the way and the inelasticity of the demand curve. This is still all the tax revenue going to the government, but only this much is paid by or that much is being paid by the consumer, and this is being paid by the producer. So it changes our prices, and the government gets to keep, and it gives us this dead weight loss again. That triangle's dead weight loss. And then it also it lowers the amount of, that would be our triangle, but it lowers our producer and consumer surplus. So it also changes, these are the new points. I'm going to change that color. These are the new points. Wow. So that is a point that the one that I just finished marking, that is the point that the producer gets to keep. And this point up here, way up here, that was a terrible arrow, but that one is the actual new price that is paid. So this is how the taxes can affect goods. Thank you.